Hi there everyone, Laurel here with a different kind of post because I don't have a card, I know. I'm going to be making this Shrinky Dink DIY bracelet. And you see those little birds there? Those are stamps that were stamped onto some Shrinky Dink paper and then shrunk. So it's super cool. Now I'm using some Shrinky Dink paper in a kit, but you can buy the paper just by itself. I'll link below to some multiple sources, very inexpensive. I just happen to be using some paper that came in a kit I bought. Now I'm also going to be using the Scribbly Bird stamp set by Dina Wakely. Again, that's going to be linked below. For the Shrinky Dink, I find you need to use some really large images because they're going to shrink down. So these birds are, medium to large sizes. So I'm inking them up with some Stays-On ink. You want to use a permanent ink for this. So I use Stays-On Jet Black, and I'm using it with my Misty because my Jet Black ink pad is so dry. So I knew I was going to have to double stamp. So using the Misty ensures that I get perfect placement every single time. So I've gone ahead and stamped those two birds, and then I'm going to stamp a third. I chose birds because my daughter loves birds, and I'm making this bracelet actually for my daughter. The bracelet and the little hook thingies you'll see at the end of the video, I got that from Michael's Crafts. But you can get that probably from any, local store. Now I wanted to show you how I clean my Stays-On. I'm using this scrubber pad and some of this Hero Arts cleaner below, and it cleans off my stamps perfectly. I just kept this part in the video because sometimes cleaning off your stamps is hard, and using a wet wipe is not going to get that Stays-On ink off your stamps. So I'm using the Hero Arts Ultra Clean Spray, which you can use the spray by itself, but I'm using it with the scrubber pad as well. So I decided to go in and color my birds with some colored pencils. I tried it with markers, but that Stays-On is not a marker-friendly, alcohol marker-friendly ink, so it just smeared all over the place. So don't do that, and then you'll damage the tips of your markers and get ink all stuck in it. So don't do that. So I chose to go with colored pencils. I've got a mix of Spectrum Noir pencils and then some Faber-Castell pencils. They are both great high-quality pencils. You can see I'm not taking any care to kind of blend in the pencil stroke lines. This is a bracelet again for my daughter who's 2, so I wanted it to look like it was colored by her. And it totally does. Maybe that's how I color. Maybe I color like a 2-year-old. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm going around and trimming the outline of the birds here. Now this is like some thick kind of plastic stuff. I'm trying to keep a little white outline here, just around the outside. Any scissors you have will trim this paper just fine. And again, I wanted to keep a little bit of a white border. And now I'm going to show you how to shrink this stuff down. Now I'm working off of a cutting board. You want to work off of something that's a little heat resistant. You want to grab some scissors or something like that to hold your image in place. Grab an acrylic block or something heavy, and then you'll need your heat tool. I heard you can do this in the oven. I don't know. Never done it before. I use a heat tool. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got my heat tool on. I've got my tweezer there holding it in place, and look, it just kind of shrinks up and curls up, and then it starts to kind of fold back out, if you can see that. That's when I stop with the heat gun. I take my acrylic block and kind of smush it down to flatten it out, and then you're done. I'm going to do it for all 3 birds so you can see. Again, it starts to curl up into this little ball, and you're going to freak out if you're doing this for the first time because you're going to think you're messing it up, but don't worry. Just take something heavy and kind of smush it down into place. Hold it for 2 seconds maybe, and that's it. See how it's shrinking up? Then I'm going to take that block and I'm going to press it down, and then boom. It's just that easy. It really is that easy. So remember the bird on the acrylic block at the beginning? Well, now look how small it is on that acrylic block. Aren't these little birds cute? I am going to fix the feet of that middle bird. I'm going to trim that down just a little bit. The feet were a little like cray-cray. So now I'm going to take a hole punch here and I'm going to punch out the eye. I know, that's kind of creepy to punch out the eye of the bird, but I needed a way for those little, see those little round thingy-mabobs? I'm not a jewelry person. I don't know the technical terms for all this stuff, but I got that little pack of round thingamabobs from Michael's. And what you do is you kind of pry it open. And this is not going to be in the video because this took me forever. I don't have jewelry tools or anything like that. So you pry it open, you kind of weave the hoop through the eye of the bird or wherever the hole is that you've made. And then I'm going to put that through the bracelet, and that's going to make my bracelet. Pliers would work probably. I don't have any of that stuff, so it took me forever to weave this through that bracelet. It was crazy. I used my finger. I kind of pressed it down onto my desk to get those things to close, but that is how I made the bracelet. So I just took the circle things, hooped it through the bracelet. You see all my technical terms, right? Hooped it through my bracelet and then made sure it was all closed so the bird wouldn't fall off the little hoop thing and then the hoop thing wouldn't fall off the little bracelet. And that's what made the bracelet. And Lily loves it. She loves to wear little bracelets. She picks up rubber bands and puts them on her wrist. Anything that will slide over her hand, she thinks is a bracelet. So it's pretty funny. But anyway, so that is it. Shrinky Dink. It's so cool. You can do some cool things with it. I've got another idea for some Shrinky Dink. Hopefully I can pan that out. It's an idea I have for the Lawnscaping Challenge, which is coming up on Monday. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. It is Memorial Day, so thank you to all the troops and soldiers and families and wives and everybody that's in the military that fights for our freedoms and makes all those sacrifices, including my husband. Thank you to my husband who never watches my videos. But anyway, if for some reason he does, thank you. If you're interested in any of the supplies, they are linked below, also over on my blog at laurelbeard.org. And thanks so much for watching again. Have a great weekend.